Hello guys, I'm back after a weekend off. I missed Ronaldo's debut and I come back to this 2-1 to Young Boys over United in the first game of the Champions League stage. I mean, I'm feeling a little bit ill and that just made me feel a whole lot worse. The performance overall was absolutely diabolical. I think we can all agree with that one. I thought Ollie's management was horrific. I thought the way we sat up was poor. Players were out of the game. It looked like there was no preparation gone into it. There was no link-up play. And then when Bissaka got that red card, which for me personally, I thought was a clear red. I mean, there's been a lot of debate on Twitter about it. I think when you do a sloppy touch like Wan-Bissaka has been doing all season he's been losing the ball like that in that position. He overstretches to get to the ball. Yes, the player exaggerates, but he goes over the ball and crunches his foot. And when you crunch someone's foot like that through a reckless challenge, and to me that is a reckless challenge because he's purposely gone over the ball to do it because he's outstretching from the dodgy touch. I think that is a red card, and that is the way football is now. And unfortunately, is a little bit softer, but it's a red card. And I think Wan-Bissaka put the team under a lot of pressure. A great piece of brilliance from Bruno. I mean, that ball from the outside of his foot like that to go to Ronaldo. I mean, goalkeepers seem to be like, Ronaldo just scored goals in me because his shots haven't been the cleanest, but they've been all going in, and that's all that counts. And that was the only point in the game for me where it actually was signs of hope. There were signs of like excellent play, and that excellent play again is coming from individual brilliance, which keeps happening. The link-up play, Pogba was out of the game because he likes playing one-touch football, and they were pressing him out of the game. Sancho, who does he have to pass to? No one's making the runs. And it just seems like the link-up completely wasn't there. Sancho's had a little bit of not a bad start, because I think he's a great player, and I think there's signs there that he can be a great player. But unfortunately, we play risky football. We play long balls. We play a little bit like Vibes FC. Like, it's not exactly structured play the way Man City and Chelsea do, where it's give and go. That's not our style. We lose possession a lot. We find it hard to retain possession, and we have holes in our midfield. And to be honest, like, each game that we play, you see these problems, but when you win, these problems are ignored. And then in a game like today, where it's young boys, like, no disrespect to that team, but we should be battering them. We should be beating them despite going down to 10 men, in my opinion. You've got the ability to do that. And you know what? If you go down to 10 men, you should have a backup plan. And that backup plan was not there. In the Champions League, we've seen Ollie been put in difficult situations so far. Each test he's had in the Champions League, he has failed. PSG with the Fred red card, failed. Istanbul game, failed. Today, for me, it's a massive fail. You could see on the look of the players as well. Like, Ronaldo was thinking, what are you doing? I mean, the changes that he makes, they immediately bring Sancho off, which I can kind of understand. It's unfortunate because for me, I thought this is the game where Sancho would really get into it. He could maybe get a goal, get an assist, and his form would start going. But Wan-Bissaka sent off. You have to bring Dallo on as the right back. I understand that, so Sancho makes way. But the problem is, for me, is Donny's had no football this season, absolutely nothing. And yes, him and Fred weren't bossing the midfield. They weren't, and I have to agree with that. I don't think they complement each other in there. But Donny was playing quite well. I don't think he was playing any worse than Fred. I thought Fred didn't really make a challenge. Fred, after the red card, was okay, to be fair, but he was the only man in that midfield. He takes Donny out and to bring Lindelof on. Bring Varane on to go to a back five. And to me, that is just straight away negative football. When you go down like that, you can't play for the 1-0. In my opinion, anyway, and you've got that many great players at Manchester United, you should still be trying to go for that win. You should still be trying to go and outscore the opposition, as well as keeping it tight at the back. So me, in that moment, I was thinking, you've got 5 subs here. Sancho off for Dallo. It's unfortunate, but it has to happen. And personally for me, just because Varane is a better centre-half and Maguire's never getting subbed, even though I would have liked to see Varane and Lindelof start today, I'm not going to lie. Maguire's the captain, he's never getting subbed. I would have unfortunately taken Lindelof off for Varane, gone into that back four, and then kept the midfield there, because when Donny came off, the midfield was absolutely non-existent. We got absolutely battered in the middle of the park. I mean, we get battered in the middle of the park most games anyway, to be honest, because, as we know, we're in desperate need of a CDM. But today was even worse. When Fred and Van der Beek was on, there wasn't that many groundbreaking passes. I mean, we weren't bossing the midfield whatsoever. And this is young boys, a team that have played 7 games to get to this place in the Champions League. And then when Van der Beek comes off, it just gets even worse. Pogba's getting out of the game because he's got no ball through. I mean, Fernandes is getting marked out the game. There's no ball through. Ronaldo's getting marked out the game. I mean, you look at the possession. I think at one point in the second half, we had 30% possession compared to them. I know you're at 10 men, and it is an AstroTurf pitch, so it is going to be a harder graft because we're not used to that. But it's not an excuse. You're Manchester United. You have these quality players to pick from. And instead, what you're doing is you're going straight to negative football. You're telling their team, we want you to come on to us. We're just going to try and sit back and park the bus. And you can't park the bus from 36 minutes into a game when Wan-Bissaka gets sent off. I generally can't understand it. I mean, I know Varane came on at half-time, and that's when Van der Beek went off. But even before we changed the formation, it was part of the bus FC. That's the way we were playing. And do you know what? You could have even brought Fred off for Matic if Matic was fit enough to play. I didn't know if he would be from the weekend. And then you've used 3 of your subs. You've still got 2 left. You've got a control of the midfield with Donny and Matic. You've got a back 4. And yeah, you've not got a right winger, but you've got enough quality up there to kind of make it up. You've got Pogba, you've got Bruno, you've got Ronaldo. These are quality players that can kind of make the space up and push Luke Shaw on a bit when there's time. I think that would have been a good way to go about the game. You're still attacking. You've got control of the midfield, but you've still assured at the back. Matic is very experienced. He can drop in. I just didn't get the way he went about his substitutions. And then the thing that really, really grated on me was when he brought off Ronaldo and Bruno for Lingard and Matic. I thought in that moment, you are telling that team we're holding on for a 1-1, or possibly even not caring if you go and score another goal, which did end up happening. I mean, surprise, surprise, you take your best players off, you invite the team onto you, mistakes are going to happen because you're being pressured. That's what happened with Lingard at the end. Like the pressure builds up, and it was a bad mistake from Lingard, but that's what's going to happen. You're inviting that team onto you, continuously inviting them onto you. You're saying Jesse Lingard's our striker, everybody else defend. You're taking Ronaldo and Bruno off. I understand it in a way because you want to save them for the weekend, but it's so defeatist. Surely, you take every game as it comes. And you know what, at the weekend, if them players aren't fit enough, possibly you're going to have to rotate. You should have good enough players to do that, considering the options we have on our bench and the fact you said you're happy with our squad. In that moment, I think you've got to play for the win. You've really got to play for the win. It's the Champions League. And that loss is massive, massive in our group, because that means that, to me, the weakest team in our group, the same way with Istanbul, we've let beat us. And we know what happened last time when that happened. So I think that decision was just so defeatist. And I think the way that Jesse kind of gave that goal away just completely summed up the whole game. I thought there was mistake after mistakes. Someone tell me why we constantly give it to Maguire and Maguire's booting it out to Shaw. It's so predictable. Half the times the pass wasn't even reaching Shaw. It was going out. And 2, they were reading it every single time. The problem is in our team, we need a CDM badly. We need a CDM that can play in that role, and we've not addressed the issue this summer. We've really not. We need someone who can break the lines. We need someone who can control the midfield. We need someone who can take pressure off Bruno and Pogba, allow them to get forward a little bit more, and we've not got that. And Donny and Fred didn't do that. To me, Donny played how a number 6 should play, but I thought Fred was poor first half, and then it just kind of Donny didn't give him his chance. I thought Fred did okay, to be fair, when he was left in there on his own, but what's he meant to do? There was no midfield, absolutely no midfield. He can't hold it up all by himself. I mean, we know he's not a CDM, so that issue was really, really prominent to me. And do you know what else? I don't want to go in on Wan-Bissaka because everyone can make a mistake, but he's had such a poor start to this season. I think now all the levels have gone up. You can tell Wan-Bissaka is a little bit out of his depth. I think his touch is bad. I think the way he gets forward isn't attacking enough. I think he doesn't take risks going forward. I think he struggles to get to the byline and get a cross in. All things offensive fullbacks should be able to do. And for me, playing to Manchester United, you need to be an offensive fullback. You can't just be defensive. We know he's got an absolute worldie tackle in him, and you saw that clearance the other day off the line. But his positional sense isn't great, and he can get caught out. And you've seen it again. He's like in the world of his own. His touch, bad. Red card, team under pressure, and now we've lost the game. And ultimately, it's not all down to Wan-Bissaka, because I still think a team of Man United's quality should win that game. I think you should win it. Drawing it, all right. all right, but you should be going out to win it. I mean, Chelsea went down to 10 men and they still managed to draw against Liverpool, one of the best teams that there is in the world. It's just, it can't all be down to Wan-Bissaka. The management does have something on it as well. And I thought the way we played afterwards was just part of Bus FC. It's what you'd see from Newcastle. And then you see Dalot come on and he's taking free kicks. Dallow's got the ability to take a free kick. So if Dallow's got good delivery, why aren't we playing him in games like today when you could have afforded to play someone a little bit more attacking? Why aren't you giving him that chance? He's got a better delivery than Wan-Bissaka. He's better going forward than Wan-Bissaka, in my personal opinion. He's got better technique. No, he's not better defensively. He's poor defensively. And that's why he's not our first choice right back. But in games like this, 11 men, when you can afford to get that attacking right back into your team, I don't get why he's not getting a chance. And that's another thing under Ollie. I do think in games like this, you need to be able to change it up. And I think Dalot being on free kicks proves he's got good delivery. So why don't you make use of him? Why don't you make use of your squad? And I just think it was poor management all around. I think the only highlights we can take out of it, Bruno and Ronaldo, again, individual brilliance. Bruno's assist and a worldie assist. Ronaldo, it just goes in the back of the net. It doesn't matter how it happens. And I also think De Gea made a few good saves as well that kept us in the game. But apart from that, I mean, no patterns of play. The players look lost. They look like they didn't know what to do. Booting up the pitch. Little link-up play. Lack of chemistry. I thought Maguire's been looking really slow recently and not the same Maguire that we saw last year. And I thought the subs just didn't make sense. And I thought, overall, yes, Wan-Bissaka, poor red card to give away. And he shouldn't have done it, but the management led to the loss. And I really do think that. I think you still could have saved the game. But, I mean, it is what it is. You've got to move on now with it. It's extremely disappointing. But we move on to the next one. We keep our momentum going in the league and hope we've got to win the rest of our Champions League games. It's as simple as that. We're all disappointed tonight, guys, but I'll see you on the next one. Hopefully it'll be a better result.